The champagne flute trembled in my hand, its golden bubbles catching the chandelier's glow, as Sarah's laughter sliced through the murmurs of our engagement party. Her ex, Ethan, stood too close, his hand grazing her arm, and her eyes, those hazel eyes I'd sworn to drown in forever, sparkled with something I hadn't seen in months. "She doesn't owe you loyalty," her best friend Claire had whispered to me earlier, her voice sharp like a shard of glass. I'd laughed it off, chalking it up to too much wine, but now watching Sarah lean into Ethan's orbit, I felt the room tilt, the air thinning as if I'd forgotten how to breathe. The backyard was a canvas of fairy lights and jasmine, the late summer evening wrapping our guests in a warm, perfumed haze. I'd spent weeks planning this, every detail, from the hand-rolled cigars to the playlist of Sarah's favorite jazz standards. She'd kissed me that morning, her lips soft against my cheek, promising forever. But forever felt fragile now, like a cracked porcelain heirloom. I caught her glance dart toward me, then away, quick as a deer startled in the woods. Was it guilt? Or something colder? I moved through the crowd, shaking hands, forcing smiles, my tie suddenly too tight. "Beautiful night, Mark," said Tom, my old college roommate, clapping my shoulder. "You and Sarah, man, you're the real deal." I nodded, my throat dry, my eyes flicking back to her. She was whispering something to Ethan, her hand on his chest, and my stomach churned. I'd seen them together before, years ago, at a bar, when she'd introduced him as just a friend. I'd believed her then. I'd wanted to believe her. The first red flag had come months earlier. A text lighting up her phone at 2 a.m. work, she'd mumbled, silencing it, but I'd glimpsed Ethan's name before the screen went dark. "He's going through a rough patch," she'd explained later, her voice casual, her fingers twisting a strand of hair. A nervous tick I'd once found endearing. I'd let it go, trusting her, trusting us. But now, as I watched her laugh too loudly at Ethan's joke, the memory of that text burned like a coal in my chest. I approached them, my steps deliberate, the grass soft under my polished shoes. "Having fun?" I asked, my voice steadier than I felt. Sarah turned, her smile faltering for a split second before it snapped back into place. "Mark, you're neglecting our guests," she teased, but her tone was brittle, like thin ice. Ethan smirked, his eyes glinting with something I couldn't name. Triumph, maybe. "Great party, man," he said, extending a hand. I shook it, his grip too firm, my knuckles whitening. As the night wore on, the crowd thinned, but Ethan lingered, hovering near Sarah like a shadow she didn't shoo away. I found Claire by the dessert table, her lipstick smudged, her eyes glassy. "Why'd you say that earlier?" I asked, keeping my voice low. "About Sarah not owing me loyalty?" She froze, then shrugged, picking at a macaron. "Just something she said once," she muttered, avoiding my gaze. "When she was drunk. Didn't mean anything." But her words landed like a punch, and I felt the ground shift beneath me. I pulled Sarah aside, into the quiet of the kitchen, where the hum of the fridge was the only sound. "What's going on with you and Ethan?" I asked, my heart pounding so loud I thought she'd hear it. Her face softened, but her eyes didn't meet mine. "Nothing, Mark. He's just familiar. You know how it is with old friends." Her voice was honey, but it stung like vinegar. "Familiar how?" I pressed, stepping closer. She backed away, her hands fluttering to her necklace. Another tick. "You're being paranoid," she said, but her laugh was hollow, and I saw it then, the flicker of a secret, darting across her face like a fish in murky water. I didn't sleep that night. I lay beside her, her breathing slow and even, while my mind raced. The next morning, I checked her phone while she showered, hating myself for it. The messages were there, buried in a thread she hadn't deleted. "Miss you. Can't stop thinking about that night." From Ethan, dated 3 weeks ago. Her reply, "We shouldn't." But I can't either. My vision blurred, the phone slipping from my hand. The betrayal wasn't a single moment. It was a tapestry, woven from late-night texts, stolen glances, and lies I'd swallowed whole. I confronted her at breakfast, the words spilling out like bile. "How long, Sarah?" Her coffee cup froze halfway to her lips, her face paling. "What are you talking about?" she asked, but her voice cracked and I knew. "I saw the texts," I said, my voice low, trembling with rage and grief. She didn't deny it. She just sat there, staring at the table, her silence louder than any confession. "It wasn't supposed to happen," she finally whispered. "Ethan, he understands parts of me you never will." Her words were a blade, twisting in my gut. "What parts?" I demanded, leaning forward, desperate for something to hold on to. "The parts that hurt," she said, tears spilling down her cheeks. "The parts that feel trapped. I love you, Mark, but sometimes love isn't enough." I wanted to scream, to shake her, to beg her to take it back. But all I could do was stare at the woman I thought I knew. Her face a stranger's now. She told me about the night it happened. A weak moment, she called it, after a fight we'd had about moving to the suburbs. Ethan had been there, listening, offering comfort she said I couldn't. "It was a mistake," she sobbed, reaching for my hand. I pulled away, the room spinning. "A mistake?" I echoed, my voice raw. "You invited him here, Sarah. To our engagement party. You let him touch you in front of everyone." The air between us crackled with unspoken truths. I wanted to hate her, but love clung to me like damp clothes, heavy and cold. "I'm sorry," she said, her voice breaking. "I'll end it. I'll do anything." But her promises felt like ash, and I saw Ethan's smirk in my mind, his hand on her arm, her eyes alive with something I couldn't give her. I walked out, the ring still on her finger, glinting like a cruel joke. The backyard was empty now, the fairy lights dim, the jasmine wilting. I sat on the porch, the weight of her betrayal pressing down on me. And I realized the twist wasn't her affair. It was me. I'd ignored the signs, built a future on sand, convinced myself her love was mine alone. The real betrayal was my own blindness, and now, as the dawn broke, I was left with a choice. To fight for a love that might never be whole again, or to walk away, carrying the ghost of her in my heart forever.